Alright, ladies and gents, we are back once again for the third and final game of the evening. We're going to have Kimura Gaming, and they are up against Hide Your Daughters. I am once again Will Elthasar Brooks. Joining me once again is Johnny Arrested Pie Lewis, and as soon as I give the go, the teams shall begin. In fact, let's do it now.
Yeah, why not?
Go
That seems like a
button.
pretty good idea.
Activate! There we go.
I wonder how long it will take them to realise that means go.
I like to make it a challenge. I feel like that's a thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
And here we are.
no one
in
went
the
AFK this time.
champion Select.
That is a first. We're trying
Either
to try and
that-
say go and someone's AFK.
Either that or whoever was making the lobby doesn't care about AFKs. I care nods for the AFKs. We shall go anyway.
Yes. The AFK is not on my team, therefore I cannot in the slightest. Anyway, first bands coming through. We're going to see a Rek'Sai band and a Callista band. Callista, in that last game, went pretty darn massive for Reading Book Club.
Yeah, though.
Despite a bad
not
early game.
Not for the lack of team presence though. I feel without the early presence from the top lane Sion and Frozen Dawn on that Orianna, they really were able to help carry their AD Callista through that early part of the game where she was struggling a lot. But then, as is the way in that Callista Caitlyn matchup.
Yeah, Callista is a champion that gets incredibly powerful late game, whereas Caitlyn is there. She is not necessarily amazing early game, but her range gives her such a huge advantage when it comes to that classic early game poke war, and Callista can't really answer back.
No, she can't, as she takes a long time to stack up those Ren stacks before doing damage, and in that time Caitlyn just basically outtrades her because of the extra range that Callista needs to get into range and then out of range again afterwards. But anyway, Callista is not going to be a part of this game, so sorry, but you have been removed. And we see Azir, Nidalee, Jarvan, and Renekton as the rest of the bans coming out from these two sides.
And it looks like we're going to see a Lee Sin. Yes? Yes? Yes, we're going to see a Lee Sin locked in first, so that's a jungle pickup already dealt with for the time being. A lot of jungle is still open. The Jarvan was banned away, so that won't be open for Evan Dragon. Of course, he could always just resort to go for the Sejuani previous game.
One thing to take note of is there is still a Vi open as well. She's incredibly strong in this new jungle, and I feel like she's underrated as well. Like a lot of people tend to disrespect her damage, especially if she gets ahead early and is able to pick up a Triforce unpunished. It's obviously a very large investment, but if that's able to get unpunished, then that's just a huge damage spike for her.
Yep, Evan Dragon has once again locked in, or rather Elements has locked in the Sejuani, which will go on to Evan Dragon. In the jungle, there's no real issues there. Truple is going to actually opt for the Leona in this game, and a Fiora? That's a surprise. Fiora is the premier example of champions that do not do well in constructed play.
I don't know, Shaco's pretty high up there.
In Five's tournaments, yeah, Shaco and Fiora are two of the best examples of it. And I think it was coined by the YouTuber GBA99, the Fiora effect. A champion that is not good by any real stance, but destroys solo queue. So it looks like right now Kimura Gaming are going for a solo queue style, which sounds, well, a bit questionable to me. That doesn't make a good deal of sense, because, well, unless I've clicked the wrong button by accident, this is not a solo queue game.
I don't think it is. I hope it's not, because then we might end up being a little bit lost and confused in where we are and what we are spectating. We do see the Veigar hover. I'd be very interested to see how that goes through. There was a bit of a phase about 2 or 3 months ago where Veigar was picked a lot, and he hasn't been changed since then, and yet his pick rate just kind of fell through the floor.
It plummeted, yeah.
But he is going to be locked in, and the late game of this team is going to be ridiculous for Kimura. The Twitch late game is huge, along with the Fiora late game, and the Veigar is going to be so obnoxious with that page for the 2.5 second stun, I believe it is, at max rank. And then they've got nice synergy with the Lee Sin, who is going to be trying to get their lanes ahead and really start to snowball in and let his teammates hit those kind of late game power spikes in the kind of mid game, as that will really help their overall damage.
Yep, last pick locked in. Well, she is going to be playing Lucian. I'm not going to lie, he hovered Misfortune, and I really, really wanted him to lock that in, because Misfortune would be glorious in that team comp. Solar Flare, Frozen Tomb, Glacial Prison, so much AoE lockup that you could guarantee a bullet time. Granted, the potential of being caught by Twitch, by Lee, and by Fiora to varying degrees is quite high, but I don't think Lucian is that much safer in that regard, because of course Fiora's lunge has 2 charges of it, or rather, not necessarily 2 charges, but she can use the ability twice before it goes on cooldown. So you're still not going to be safe as an AD carry unless you've got like resistance right there. And I really dig the Lissandra pick for that, because Fiora tries to go aggressive, she gets lobbed into a Frozen Tomb instantly, and the team can fall back, or they can try and set up in such a way that they can stunlock Fiora even harder when she comes out of the tomb.
Yeah, what I want to see happening though from this Fiora pick is, so as the Glacial Tomb from Lissandra gets cast on an enemy, there's a couple of particle effects that you can see on the champion it gets cast on. If that's Fiora, and if you use the Blade Waltz of Fiora as that particle effect starts, you do not get hit by the ultimate. It cancels the ultimate from Lissandra, and you carry on doing all of the damage from the Blade Waltz. So there's a massive amount of outplay potential there. However, on the flip side, there's also kind of decent outplay potential by the Lissandra if she uses that Glacial Tomb on herself. As Fiora uses that first lunge of the Blade Waltz, it will cancel the rest of the Blade Waltz AoE damage.
Yes. Indeed it will. We are in the spectator delay, so we may as well go across the team compositions while we're here. On the blue side will be Kimura Gaming. We're going to have Terry008 in the top lane playing Fiora, SCR2 playing Lee Sin in the jungle, Quora in the mid lane on Veigar. We have Worst Gamer 1 on Twitch and Rathios on Janna.
And for the red team, we have Brindle playing Lissandra in the top lane, Ebon Dragon on Sejuani again in the jungle, Elements on LeBlanc in the mid lane, and Schwuppel and Welshie on Leona and Lucian respectively for their duo lane.
Well, Leona Lucian, that's a pretty deadly combo. Lane. It is an old school lane. It's not quite as old school as the Leona Graves that's been making a resurgence, but it's still very, very strong. And if they can get the aggressive start that they will be looking to get, they might be able to shut down that Twitch. And if they do, that's absolutely massive for them. That is literally huge. That is a really, 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 really...
A really good thing?
Really good thing for Hydra Daughters. Because if you get to later on in the game, Twitch will be roaming around constantly, trying to catch Lucian out.
Yeah, and Lucian does have his relentless pursuit to get away, but the slow that comes out from the Venom cask of Twitch will actually probably be the death of Lucian if he is ahead and does get in range.
You've got to remember as well, of course, a previous Lucian nerf, of course, because because Relentless Pursuit used to remove slows. No longer does that, so if Twitch does land the Venom Cask, then it really is the nail in the coffin.
Indeed, along with the balk that I am assuming Twitch will get, that slow is going to help. And if Twitch picks up a Ghost Blade on top, goes for the really snowbally build of balk into slow blade. Wow, I'm really good at talking today.
Slow blade
Twitch picks up the
slows your attack speed but increases your attack damage by 300%.
Yeah.
Would that be OP?
Probably.
Yes.
Depends who you're playing and how much it decreased your attack speed.
Oh god, imagine how bad that would be on Nasus.
Yeah, I was about to say you could just give it to a Nasus and he'd be like, "Yep,
7,000 damage."
I do all of the damages.
Yeah, right. Don't implement an item like that. You did a good job getting rid of DFG though. Well played on that one.
You got rid of Sword of the Divine, and that made me really sad.
Yes, because you're one of the few people on this earth that likes playing Quinn.
To be fair, she's a fun champion.
I will not deny that. I just somewhat question her viability.
She's viable. Anyway.
What I'm interested to see, actually, the DFG point has raised a ding moment. LeBlanc is not going to be that really, really obnoxious threat that she used to be, because DFG does not exist.
Have you been playing the game much this patch?
I have not played against LeBlanc on this patch, no. I have played multiple games, but I've never encountered LeBlanc.
Okay, spoiler alert,
she
still hurts a lot.
Well, yeah, that's not surprising. LeBlanc still hurts a lot, but it's just the completely counter-playlist mechanic she used to have has now been dealt with. I imagine Civ HD was a little bit sad about that, but
and I don't know, he just bought 6 rowers, didn't he?
Oh yeah, that was just the Duke City build. I have my core items, and I have my starting items and my core build, and then if all else fails, all of them are rowers.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily go 6.
I do like this Viger pick into the LeBlanc, you know.
It's potentially brilliant. I will say that, yes. What are we going over here? Well, she is making Shwoople dance.
Yeah. Well, she's being nice and shooting Shwooper's feet. Probably not the best thing to do.
No, it weakens the bonds of trust.
Well, it depends if you hit them or not, I guess.
You'd have to be incredibly
shooting
skilled.
A smiley face in the ground. It was in the shape of a smiley face.
Yeah, but that just seems kind of creatively sadistic.
Yeah.
I don't know what came over.
True.
Anyway, both junglers are going to be starting at their respective mini buffs, so Krugs for Lee Sin and Glomp for Sejuani. Means they're both going to get level 2, and they'll both be able to continue their jungling with very little in the way of difficulties. Doesn't look like there's going to be any massive early game advantages. I mean, both lanes seem relatively even. Level 2 should be hit first by the Leona Lucian, of course, because of the presence of the Relic Shield. But all about the farm right now. No one's really dealing a massive amount of damage at level 1.
Yeah, they are just kind of trading a little bit of poke back and forth. The Eye of the Storm blocks some damage, but they've got to be really careful as Leona and Lucian are about to hit level 2.
Yep, there is the level 2. Instant Zenith Blade, instant stun, and that's half of Worst Gamer's health instantly disappearing. Shwoople, I think, just outside of turret range, but yeah, the trade is actually fairly even considering the damage Shwoople took from the... I was going to say expunge, but that's not what it's called anymore. Contaminate?
Contaminate, yeah.
Yes, it used to be expunge.
I don't like the new Twitch names of abilities.
Venom Cask was cool. I like that.
Yeah, but
it's not spray and pray. Yeah, Rat-a-tat-tat is not a spray and pray. It's good, but it's not quite spray and pray.
No. I can't even remember what the old Venom cast was called. Although the Zenith Blade lands onto Shruple.
Instant exhaust.
Power shot. And the instant exhaust onto Welshie. That's a summoner bird.
Indeed it is. Right now, that puts the advantage on the red side of this map. But Elements, yep, still being obnoxious on LeBlanc, constantly getting those Sigil of Malice procs. I was about to say silence, but they don't silence anymore. Once again, something that no doubt made Civic a little bit sad.
It made a lot of LeBlanc players sad, and everyone else very happy.
I'll give you one guess as to which side of that fight I was on. I'll put it to emphasise my point to the community. I'm currently wearing a Ziggs t-shirt. Okay. There was a bit of an attempted gank in the top lane as SCR2 tried to go aggressive onto Lissandra. Trade once again in the bottom lane, definitely won by Shruple and Welshie. Worst game actually getting a nice amount of bonus damage off though from the ambush.
Yeah, he's returning a lot of damage on these trades. I feel like the bot lane of ID Daughters aren't expecting the passive damage that this Twitch does. This true damage from the poison stacks along with the contaminate really does a lot of dot. Though we see LeBlanc roaming down towards this bot lane. She is level 5 though. So
oh, exhausted to worst gamer. They're going to try and make the aggression go down onto this Twitch. The bait has actually worked. The double flash come through and the instant follow-up heal. Flash burn, but double summon is used by that. Terry actually getting caught out of position. SCR2 is there to assist. Ebon Dragon wanting to just do as much damage as he can. I think Fiora would have fallen were it not for the situation. Well, she's been caught out of position though. Is going to get taken down for first blood. Great ambush positioning. Rathios is just trying to juke away from Shruple right now. Will just about be able to do so, and he is going to get taken down as well, I think. Stun onto Worst Gamer, but the last auto does go down. Minions though!
Minions!
There we go! Red caster minion OP.
Indeed they are.
And
Minions, as it has just been said in chat.
MVP.
Minions MVP.
Indeed. 2 for 1 currently the score. That trade definitely going in favour of our blue team in this game. Does give them a slight gold advantage, but it's not so massive that it's unrecoverable. I think Kimura should be alright for the time being.
Yeah, we do see a huge CS difference though in that bot lane at almost 20 CS at 6 minutes. So despite those couple of kills that were picked up, we do see that the Kimura bot lane is only a few hundred gold ahead because of that CS advantage. Though the Bilgewater Cutlass as opposed to a Vamp Scepter is just a very large difference. Yeah,
in trade potential especially, and of course the fact that the extra lifesteal it gives on top of the AD just means that Twitch will be able to trade so much better than Lucian at this point in the game. Also has a bit of a level advantage. Terry trying to go aggressive on towards Trindle. It's going to put good damage down, but it is traded back very efficiently. Of course, Lissandra is so very good at trading against melee champions.
Yeah, look at the pink ward though. In this bush on bot side, they are looking to... They're
trying to bait game wild in.
Yeah, but they don't have the Sejuani around to back it up, and I feel like lane pink wards are very dangerous unless you are going to make something happen fairly shortly. They might just be trying to bait out a passive playstyle, knowing that they're behind, as Twitch does have the Bilgewater.
Well, it's definitely possible, of course, and the fact that Twitch knows that pink ward is there means that he's going to be incredibly reluctant to use ambush aggressively. Oh, there's the damage coming out from Quora. The straight trade and Elements loses 2/3 of his health instantly. We'll have to fall back to his tower soon enough, I think.
Yeah, though you say that Quora is very low on mana, despite having the passive mana regen, the same one that the Chalice of Harmony has.
Yep, the Equilibrium. Whoop, Elements might get caught out here. Yep, does get caught out. SCR2 does not actually have his ultimate just yet. Elements really probably should have tried to keep going towards his turret the moment he jumped back to that distort pad, he was dead.
Shouldn't have gone back to that distort pad. Yeah, it was probably not the best thing to do.
I imagine not. No.
Did die for it, but that is kind of scary how well Cora is landing those pages. As we do see Shruple going aggressive in the bot lane. Takes a tower shot though. Well, she is going to follow up, but the passive damage from this Twitch is kind of ridiculous. Got 6 stacks on Welshie, and that hurts.
Yep, 6 true damage every second for a period of time. Worst Gamer looking like he wants to go aggressive, but stays outside of the damage radius. Well, she does juke backwards. Shruple's going to try and go aggressive. SCR2 has come in to assist. Shruple's going to try and run back towards turret. Elements is here as well, though. They might be able to get the catch on. There's the Elements coming in. Heal came out from Worst Gamer. Shruple is going to fall most likely. SCR2 did kill Welshie too. Shruple does survive on a sliver of health.
Ooh, wow.
But that is still a kill picked up, and Elements was not able to get anything for himself.
Yeah, Cora is here now to deter any further aggression. The stun does land, but outside after the distort went through. And I've got to say, Shruple was fairly lucky to get out on that, though. Also calculated, I think, at this point, isn't it?
Yes, totally calculated. Absolutely. Funnily enough, the top lane with the rather solo QE matchup is the most peaceful of the lanes. 2 CS between them. And they're trading pretty evenly at each and every turn. Still, neither team looks like they want to go for Dragon just yet. I think that the team that gets the first Dragon will get the first significant lead.
Indeed they will, and we do see Dewey taking a fair amount of damage, though Trindle is low on mana, and the dragon is being stuck. Wow, that's a very sneaky dragon, and that's going to go down for free.
It is indeed.
This is
the division. They have no idea.
Yeah.
Well, no, they will have known because Trindle got the buff.
The buff.
Terry trying to go very, very aggressive. He's going to use the Blade Waltz under tower as well. He's going to pick up the kill. Trindle did not have enough mana. No, he did have enough mana to Frozen Tomb.
Yeah, he didn't Frozen Tomb himself.
I would have frozen. Oh no! If he Frozen Tombed himself, then yes. If he Frozen Tomb Terry, the tower wouldn't have been able to damage him.
No.
Yeah, never mind. Nope, Quora trying to come around the outside, gonna go for the stun, catches both Welshie and Shruple. There's the burst coming through, and that is a dead Lucian. Quora has been doing a great job of farming up that Q in the early game. He has a lot of AP right now. Oh, the burst as well.
Wow, the Blanc burst coming through. Both of these mid laners showing their, how dangerous they are both at the moment. The Blanc sitting on the Chalice, interestingly enough, not opting to go for the Morellos against what could be a fairly heavily life-stealing team with the Fiora and the Twitch. But instead opting for the extra regen and bit of MR that it brings against the Veigar.
Evidently not. Elements is going to return to base right now. Currently got a Chalice to his name, so he's going to want to pick up a bit more AP on this back. Chances are he's going to head towards the Athene's Unholy Grail, of course. There we are, yep. Fiendish Codex picked up. And of course the magic resist that gets from the completed Athenes will be quite nice in at least mitigating some of the damage, especially when a Primordial Burst combo comes out.
Yeah, this does a lot of damage, and that's not really anything anyone would argue with, as it does scale off your AP as well as Veigar's, which seems a little bit silly, but, you know, try it please.
I think it's a really cool mechanic, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
like the interaction of the mechanic is really nice. It's the way to counter Veigar is to play an AD assassin.
Yeah.
Because his burst is not that.
Yeah. What you could also do is the whole Mordekaiser thing and get their AP mid laner so far ahead that you one-shot them anyway because of their AP. And then you just win from there. The feed to win strat.
Ah yes, the winning by feeding. That was a very cool strategy that did come out. Elements taking a big burst to the face. But you can see the fear in Welshie bot in the bottom lane right now. He does not want to trade with Worst Gamer at all.
No, though Lee Sin is standing around, and that is probably influencing his decision making at this point. But Aura farming up Storm lands another cage, and the Primordial Burst is not available.
No, he used it in a previous burst combo.
Earlier, but a lot of damage still from the Dark Matter and the Baneful Strike that came out, and we do see Sedge sneaking around into this top lane.
Yep, Sejuani is present, but it doesn't look like Terry's actually wanting to go aggressive. He doesn't seem to have a reason to.
No, the minions are going to push into his tower. Although he's out of position now.
There's the lockup combo. The Blade Waltz has not been used yet. It should be used now. It does, but the burn comes through. Evan Dragon picks up that kill, of course, with the red buff.
Yeah, a little bit slow on using Blade Waltz there. Didn't manage to get past the Glacial Tomb, and the CC chain was very strong, and they just managed to pick him off. And they might even be able to get a top tower. If Ebon Dragon had stuck around, they probably would have been able to have picked up that tower, but they decide to leave it up for now, as both teams are kind of in this stalemate, really. Not much is happening anymore, but they are going to pick up this top lane tower. Okay.
Yep, first turret of the game does go down. Trindle, of course, rushing towards Zhonya's Hourglass just to make it really, really hard for a Fiora to kill you, because you can't Blade Waltz a target that isn't there.
Indeed. Well, targeted abilities on untargetable people are generally a pretty decent counter.
If I recall correctly as well, though, if you Zhonya's mid Blade Waltz, it does cancel it.
It cancels the Blade Waltz, however, yeah. So if Lissandra uses the Zhonya's quickly enough, the Fiora will only be able to get one tick of the Blade Waltz damage down, and that mitigates so much of her burst.
Indeed it does.
Yeah, it's just a nice little trick that you guys, if you ever play against a Fiora, do try and do that.
Specifically pick Lissandra first, though.
Or anyone who wants to get a Zhonya's.
Well, you could say that, but I tried to play Victor against her once, and that didn't go well.
Well,
I picked Victor to counter something, and then they just put him in the jungle. And then I was like, well, sad face. Okay. I didn't pick Victor to counter Fiora. God, no.
It would have been an interesting decision to say the least. However, we see Ebon Dragon has not snuck into this bottom lane. Though we see the Primordial Burst coming down, the Flash forced out from Elements as
Terry's wanting to go aggressive on Trindle right now.
As well. Blade Waltz comes down, the Frozen Tomb, and the Ignite goes down onto Trindle. The Ring of Frost is keeping Tui at bay, the Flash away. But the counter flash by Tui finishes off Lissandra there, and Dragon has just respawned.
Yep, that's going to be the 6% attack and ability power going across onto Kimura Gaming. They are 7 kills to 2 up right now. They've only got a 2,000 gold lead though, so don't let it fool you. That tower that was picked up by Hydra Daughters is still keeping them well in this game.
Elements finds a Shorty in the jungle. He does get kicked away, lands the resonating strike, but gets killed as he's flying back. But Twitch is there to finish off the kill. Worst Gamer is getting the spray and pray across onto Welsh. He did manage to land a decent talent. The Solar Flare comes down, but the Monsoon to disengage those triple Zenith Blades across to Janna, who flashes away. Twitch is not going to be able to kite all of that out as Lissandra is behind the boat. Kimura is there on Viger and traps the Lissandra there, and is going to be able to pick up the kill on the Lissandra. Oh no, he's not, because Worst Gamer goes around the corner and picks up the kill, and then picks up the kill on Schwuppel as well for a double kill. A very messy team fight, but an overall 4 for 1, I believe, or 5 for 1? 4 for 1.
Yeah, 4 for 1, I think. Yeah, it was a 4 for 1 because it was 7 and 1.
1 or 7 and 2?
7 and 2, I think, before the fight began.
Yeah.
Yes. 2 minutes until Baron spawns for the first time. No one will really be caring about that for the time being. Instead, it looks like Kimura are going to be more than happy with just pushing up this middle lane. Worst Gamer putting down those stacks of poison. Going to return to base. He does have the Blade of the Ruin King completed, want to start rushing towards the Ghost Blade, and he can become a proper assassin.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's built the Brutalizer, built the Avarice Blade.
Oh!
Catch out on Lissandra in the jungle. Sonic
Very dead.
lands.
Very, very dead indeed.
Yeah. Yep.
Might even try and get onto elements as well. Terry not able to. Yeah.
He is a very mobile champion is LeBlanc, and one of the most annoying because of that.
Very mobile she is.
Yeah. But they did find another kill on Trindle, and that is going to be a little bit of a loss of morale there. Sitting at 0-4-1, has completed the Zhonya's though, so that is a good thing for Trindle. But I don't know how much it's going to help. Well, the Ebon Dragon heading up to try and do something in this top lane.
It's more a case of just defending the lane, I think, because of course both teams are 1-1 on turrets, but it's really a matter of who can defend their turrets the best for the time being, because there doesn't seem to be any particularly orchestrated team fights going down.
Gosh.
Never mind, Worst Gamer going full assassin mode onto Welshie. Heavy damage being dealt, the solar flare not enough, did not get the stun. Shroopel is going to be the target as well. There's the double kill for Worst Gamer, and this should be a bottom turret. Elements is here, but he's only attacking Rathios. He's not going to have enough to pick up this Janna, I don't think. Elements running around the outside, just trying to escape the wrath of the Lee Sin.
Switching.
Yeah, that was
between Lee Sin, Twitch, and Janna, allowing all three of them to escape the wrath of Elements LeBlanc. I am very impressed by that tower switching. Not sure if planned or not, but it worked out extremely well.
We will give credit as if it were intentional. Elements sat in this bottom lane, might get caught out by Quora and Terry. Yes, very, very caught out by Quora and Terry.
That was an extremely nice flash cage there from Kura's Veigar. The Event Horizon is a very hard skill shot to land. It's one of the weird ones where you need to try and hit the edge of the ability as opposed to the middle.
Well,
it is kind of more intuitive.
Against a LeBlanc it doesn't matter though, because LeBlanc's distortion counts as a dash, and therefore you forget what you were going to say. LeBlanc's distortion counts as a dash, so you're still going to take the stun if you try and distort out of it. Then Worst Gamer appeared with Blade of the Ruin King and Yomu's Ghost Blade completed, picked up another double kill. It's currently 7-4. Full assassin mode has been engaged this game. Quora scaring Shroopel to the... It was, yeah. They are incredibly scared right now, and justifiably so. 21 minutes and more than triple the kills, almost a 10,000 gold lead as well, and that's 1 minute 10 before the dragon respawns as well.
Yeah, Kimura have done a really good job of snowballing this game. Shroopel is going to die if he tries to go aggressive, no question about that. He stuns the minion and flashes out as he realizes the tower is getting absolutely shredded, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. Goes back to base, but that is going to be a blue buff steal coming through for Quora, and Quora is going to be very happy about that. Veigar is an extremely mana-hungry champion, and they might actually give this over to Tui's Fiora, as his is still available. But we see Ebon Dragon here, as well as the LeBlanc gets blown up by Worst Gamer. The stun lands on Ebon Dragon. Ubar Switch is killing everything. Fiora tries to dive the backline, but gets locked up under tower and killed. That stops any further pressure with the tower there, and that is going to be a 2-for-1 there, and a blue buff steal onto Worst Gamer.
There's no attempt on contention right now. The flash Frozen Tomb from Trindle didn't do anything. Shroopel was way too low, Welshie was way too low, and Worst Gamer might... I thought he was going to try and go for Welshie, but he didn't realise he was there. Trindle does get exhausted. The flash follow-up into the Zhonya's. Great stun from Shroopel though, that was absolutely wonderful. There's the follow-up from Elements 2, picking up the shutdown. 13-2 Twitch though. That is so painful. Speaking of painful, Quora's going to be suffering a bit of that himself. They're going to try and chase onto Rathios, but I'm pretty sure they will be unable to get a catch onto that Janna. They can, however...
They get a dragon, right?
They can, yep. SCR2 is currently pushing the top lane outer turret.
Yeah, he hasn't really been anywhere recently. He's just kind of been farming up on his own. Picks up the tower for them. Elements though is there. Misses the chain, unfortunately for him. While that's happening, Dragon, as he said, is going down in his bottom lane.
This is one of the dragons that doesn't really matter though in the situation that Hydra Daughters is in. 13 kills down, still 10,000 gold down. They don't have an opportunity to put down tower pressure.
Yeah, the first dragon is... Oh no, that was their second dragon, yeah.
Yes.
But I guess it's a case of denying it from...
Yes,
from
there is the
Kimura.
big factor.
That's the main thing, because, yeah, they're not in a position to be putting tower damage down, but Kimura is. And 15%...
They're more than ready to do that.
Yeah, they are doing that at this very moment. Trying to put pressure on these towers, and that is why... Well, yeah, it's just a really good to deny dragon buffs. Also just gets them closer to that, like, late game 5 dragon, the dream points.
As we saw, getting 5 dragons pretty much ends a game. As we saw with the previous game, fight going on over the red buff for Ebon Dragon. It does actually pick it up for himself. He's going to Arctic Assault over the wall, not wanting to put himself in the choke point. SCR2, not a sufferer of Lee syndrome. Not going to follow up on a kick that could prove lethal. Mind and body both saying no in that situation. They're going to roam up towards the top lane and try and put some pressure on this inner turret.
Yeah, they are... I don't know how well they can defend that. Lissandra obviously has a lot of wave clear, and culling can be used to wave clear as well. But worst game is going to get catch on Schwuppel.
He decides actually to stay in stealth, doesn't want to go aggressive. Shruple, of course, basically the tankiest member of his team right now. Ebon Dragon's not been doing immensely well, so he hasn't been able to pick up a good deal of items, and he's actually been trying to itemize towards an Iceborne Gauntlet first, which means that any tanky stats have been somewhat put behind on the priority queue. Of course, there is a bit of armor there on the Iceborne Gauntlet, but I wouldn't call it a particularly significant amount, 30 armor.
No, it's not a huge amount, though the rotations are really nice here. They just decide to go straight to this mid lane. The Arctic Assault forward from Ebon Dragon was a little bit out of position, and that could have been capitalized on, but Kimura didn't decide they wanted to do that. Instead, the tower in the bottom lane just falls to minions, I believe.
Yes, it does.
And that's a little bit more gold in the pocket of Hydra Daughters as the Glacial Prison kind of whiffs.
Unfortunately, it didn't actually hit directly onto someone, so the stun was not procced to any degree. Might get a bit of a catch. SCR2 had Leona right there, decides against going aggressive. Try and go for the catch. Worst game is going to put a lot of damage down onto Trindle, and of course Trindle is very, very squishy indeed. There's a bit of a catch though. Worst Gamer exhausted, taking a lot of damage. Ebon Dragon does get taken down by Terry. Terry's going to keep on shredding through the ranks. Going to end up getting taken down eventually, I think. Terry will end up falling to the ignite of elements, but he picked up a triple kill first. Trindle using the double does not die. So little health. And the turret aggro not working in Quora's favour right there. Trindle is going to say, thank you, come again. Takes the kill. It's going to finish off a Morellonomicon as well for a bit of extra damage. And of course that wonderful heal reduce.
Yeah, unfortunately for Hydra Daughters, Kimura are going to take Trindle up on that offer of come again and take the inhibitor and probably loop round to try and set up a trap. Leona is walking into that bot side, but is going to back off as soon as she puts a single ward down. Kind of smart there, doesn't really want to be caught out by herself. I'd like to point out how well Kimura have been doing in denying pink wards. There are 0 pink wards on the map for Hydra Daughters. Well, 0
and none in inventory as well.
But, yeah. But, so I feel like more investment needs to be placed on Vision. But they are going for a sneaky Baron. No, they're just checking it. They could have done a sneaky Baron.
They could have gone for a sneaky Baron. I I suppose in a split push situation it doesn't help though, because a champion has to be near minions to give it the buff. But once again, that would have been a matter of denial, because this is reaching the point of the game where a Baron buff is game ending.
Yes, yeah, definitely. With how strong Fiora is at the moment, she can 1v1 most of the team, unless she gets severely outplayed and denied by Lissandra's Glacial Tomb, not Glacial Prison, that's Frozen Tomb.
Yeah.
Ice plus lockup, it's all the same, right?
Effectively, yes. I can't fault your logic on that one.
But it looks like a trap's going to be set up. Schwartz does not get hit by the Howling Gale. The sweepers does get used, and they will be able to pick up that ward. So this dragon is coming up in about 20 seconds, and Hide Your Daughters are not going to be in any position to contest this.
Yeah, this is going to be the second dragon going through for Kimura, which means there's the additional pushing power. And no, I was about to say that you Hide Your Daughters might want to try and sneak a Baron during that time, but their damage I don't think is where it needs to be for that to happen.
They don't have enough damage to monsters to be able to do that before Kimura kind of take the Nexus Tower.
Yeah, there we go. Tower destruction goes down. Nexus towers, of course, are open. For a brief second, I almost thought they were heading Baron way.
Yeah, they are sniffing around that area. They do have a ward in the back of it, but they are very, very hesitant to commit to anything right now. And kind of rightly so, the catch potential of this Twitch is huge, but they need to do something, otherwise they are just going to get outscaled and choked out of this game.
Absolutely, but it might be a case of them choking on that Baron buff that might prevent a comeback, because had they maybe just said, they're holding Dragon, we can't fight them for it, let's give this Baron a shot.
That's a dead
That's a very dead Welshie.
That's not a dead
Ooh, the
Welshie.
flash. Good flash.
Was a little bit interesting.
That was a life-saving flash, though.
Yeah, didn't want to use the Primordial Burst on the Lucian, and well, she gets out with his life.
So
I'm
it would
kind of surprised. So Worst Gamer is running up the mid lane, looking to get something happening. They cut from previous falls. He sprays and prays through the minion line, and Expunges gets a lot of damage down on Ebon Dragon and Elements as the Claw of Doom comes out from Trindle, but that's not going to be followed up on.
Yeah, Glacial Path, it was just going to be a terrible idea to follow on the Glacial Path in the first instance. Elements does go forward, gets caught and destroyed instantly, trying to get onto Worst Gamer, but there's just too much damage there.
And so much peel from a Janna. You can't dive an AD through a Janna. It's so hard. The Primordial Burst almost one-shots Trindle, and that is very scary. Victoria is taking tower aggro. He takes the colors in place of nice Glacial Prison, gets the repeat. So Worst Gamer is just sitting in the backline doing so much damage. The Expunge comes out along with the Resonating Strike and kills the Shortfall, and that is going to be gained surely coming out from Kimura as the Frozen Tomb, I don't even know, comes out on Trindle, but he is going to only delay his death.
Yeah.
All of the ice and the lockup, ultimates.
Whoa, Element's doing good damage, but doesn't look to be enough. No. As long as Worst Gamer sits there autoing away on that Nexus, it will fall. Just a couple more autos time. They're going to try and get Elements down first, but they do not manage it. Still, down goes the Nexus with a very pretty explosion. And Kimura Gaming take the victory, 29 kills to 10, 32.5 minutes. Palindromic game time. I like it a lot.
Indeed. So, very well played there by Kimura Gaming, and commiserations to Hide Your Daughters. Hard-fought game, but they really did not they weren't able to push the early advantages, and just let the late game team comp get to late game before it should.
Yeah, evidently not. Anyway, it should have been the final game. We'll have a little parlay with the admins. We'll have a 2-minute break while we do that, just to make sure that all games are wrapped up for the day. Then we'll sign off, and, well, maybe we'll sign off if the games are done. I think they are, but probably best to check.
Probably. One would think so.
Indeed. We'll be right back in just a moment. Alright folks, after parlaying with the admins, we can confirm that that is the final game of the evening. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed casting it. Of course, I was Will Althazar Brooks. Casting me was Arrested Pie. You can follow us on Twitter if you really like to listen to the ramblings of a sort of upper-class British man and a sort of southern... I don't know... The best way to describe Pie is... I suppose it's pi squared. No. Never mind. I don't even know. I could have come up with some kind of mathematical pun there, but my brain was just not quite on track for it. Anyway, that will be the conclusion of the tournament for the day. The music during the breaks was by Miracle of Sound. That's Miracle of Sound. If you look him up on YouTube, youtube.com/Miracle of Sound, you will find all manner of glorious music. He is incredibly good at what he does. And many thanks go out to him for allowing me to utilize his music during the break periods. That is it, folks, for the Battle of the South of the day. I have been Will Althazar Brooks, and I hope to see you again in just a few moments' time. Moments? Weeks. Maybe. Possibly. Next week. Next week! That's the one.